Hello, my name is Otis Landerholm. I'm an immigration lawyer. I fight for the rights of immigrants who are hoping to stay in the United States. Today I'm going to be talking about how to file for a marriage-based green card. Okay, this is a lot of the work that we do, and it's an important topic. My plan is to first talk about green cards, kind of the green card basis, and to figure out whether or not you're eligible for a green card. And then second, I want to go through the application process and talk about paperwork, documentation, and kind of how to apply. And then we'll go over a couple of other things at the end, sort of what else do you need to know and how a lawyer can help with the process. Okay? So the green card basics. First of all, generally speaking, the broad view of immigration law is there are visas, which generally speaking give you temporary permission to be on U.S. soil for a specific and narrow purpose. And then there are green cards, which give you permanent permission to be in the U.S. for any lawful purpose. Okay, so green cards are a valuable thing. They can allow you, permanent residency in the United States. It allows you to travel much more easily than you ever could on even a multiple entry visa. Okay, so who is eligible to get a green card? My office is focused on family-based green cards. So if you have an employment-based green card question, which there are employment-based green cards, I can refer you to one of my colleagues that can handle that and that does that on a more regular basis. But generally speaking, from the family side, if you are the spouse, the parent, or the child of a United States citizen, or even the sibling of a United States citizen, or if you are the spouse or the child of a green card holder, then you may be eligible for a green card, okay, through the family-based system. There are also green cards that are available based on asylum. Okay, so I have another video series on how to file for asylum and how to be eligible for asylum. Basically, if you've won an asylum case and then you wait 1 year, you can be eligible for a green card. There are also green cards available based on the U visa, and I have a U visa video series as well. So if you have a U visa and then wait in U non-immigrant status for 3 years, then you can apply for a green card. And then there are employment-based green cards, which are outside the scope of what I'm talking about right now. But yes, certain employers are allowed to petition for certain employees and their green cards. Okay, so for the topic of this video, we are only talking about marriage-based green cards. We're not talking even about other family-based green cards. Siblings can apply for green cards, if you're the sibling, brother or sister of a U.S. citizen. But right now we're talking about marriage-based. So to be eligible for a marriage-based green card, first you have to be legally married to a United States citizen or a green card holder. Second, you have to be married in quote-unquote good faith. And third, you have to be quote-unquote admissible to the United States. So let's look at each of those three things. Regarding the legal marriage to a United States citizen or a green card holder, legal marriage means, first of all, that you and your spouse were of legal age, generally speaking, more than over 18, and that prior marriages, if there were any, ended lawfully through death or divorce before you entered into your current marriage. Okay? Generally speaking, U.S. immigration law will respect a marriage as long as it was lawfully entered at the place and at the time that it was entered into. Okay? So look to the jurisdiction wherever you got married. But generally speaking, you have to be 18 and you can't be a polygamist, or you can't be married to multiple people at the same time. So be careful about that. All right. The second requirement is that you have to have been married, quote unquote, in good faith. So what does the government look for about that? Really, throughout this process, or as part of this process, you will be interviewed, and the government officer will be asking you about how you met, how you know each other, how you fell in love, how you knew this person was the one for you. All of those types of questions. They're going to be trying to determine that you did not just get married for the sole purpose of getting a green card. Okay? That is called immigration fraud, and you can't do that. You can't marry someone just so that you can stay in the United States. You have to actually love them. All right, and we try to do as best we can as to putting forth all kinds of evidence of the fact that you guys actually love each other. All right. And then third, you have to be admissible to the United States. So what does admissibility mean? Admissibility means that you can't have triggered or committed any serious immigration sins in your past. Okay, so criminal history, including arrests, even just some criminal conduct, even if you weren't arrested, can cause problems with admissibility. If you've ever crossed the border without permission, that can cause problems with inadmissibility. If you've ever lied or misrepresented anything to the U.S. government, if you've ever falsely said that you were a U.S. citizen when really you weren't, if you were ever deported in the past, if you've ever helped anybody cross the border without permission, if you've ever had anything to do, of course, with anything related to terrorism or with even harming other people. Those are just a few of the kind of red flags that we screen for, and in the process, you should have a good consultation with a lawyer, and you can go through absolutely every ground of inadmissibility to make sure that you're okay to apply, and to make sure that you haven't triggered anything that would cause a problem for your case. All right, so those three issues one more time. First, you've got to be legally married. Second, that marriage had better be in good faith. And third, you have to be, quote unquote, admissible to the United States. All right. So, I want to talk a little bit more about the admissibility ground. If you're worried about whether or not you're inadmissible, it's worth talking to a lawyer, because some grounds of inadmissibility are, quote unquote, waivable. Okay, there are waivers out there that that a lawyer can use and that you can use to ask the government for forgiveness, ask the government to waive whatever problem you may have in your case. Okay, so just because there might be something bad in your past, just because you may have crossed the border without permission in your past, it's possible to ask the government to forgive you for it, and my office does that on a regular basis as well. Okay. All right. So that really is all that I want to talk about in this first video. The next video, we'll talk about the application process, the paperwork, things like that. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.